The ocean. Billions of cubic kilometers of water fill the earth. Its immense size never ceases to amaze us. Life is constantly evolving beneath the surface. A deep and diverse world full of the weird and wonderful. Large marine creatures roam these pelagic waters. Prehistoric animals that attract attention from those on land. But hiding in the shadows of these mighty mammals are other kinds of creatures. Rare and strange, brightly colored, but also masters of disguise. Delicate, but potentially poisonous, hunters and hunted. Together they feed, mimic, take refuge, and coexist in a multitude of ecosystems, more diverse than those on land. These strange species hide deep underwater, a mystery even to scientists. Incredible beings coexisting in the harsh conditions of the marine environment, in a constant struggle for survival. Together, this community of weird ocean creatures transforms the underwater world into an extraordinary place. In order to understand the importance of caring for and preserving the ocean, it is essential to know everything it encompasses. Marine species, both plant and animal, play a fundamental role in the balance of the environment. And this ultimately has a positive impact on the quality of life of human beings. We have fun in the sea. We feed ourselves from it, and thanks to it, we can enjoy the oxygen we breathe and take advantage of its energy resources. It is the largest ecosystem, covering approximately 70% of the Earth's surface and home to more than 1 million different species, of which we know barely 10%. The animals that live in it, from microorganisms such as plankton to large pelagic species, are an essential part of life on the planet. In the coming minutes, various marine species will show us how the different marine environments are of great importance for the survival of human beings. One of the marine environments that we frequently find on our planet are the extensive sand flats that are home to an infinite number of species of many different kinds. Those that bury themselves to go unnoticed and be able to hunt their prey, those that do so to flee from predators, or those that find the food they need in the sediment. This is made up of tiny organisms, organic remains, and small mollusks and crustaceans that hide in this type of bottom. Although at first glance these vast expanses appear to be devoid of movement, they hide a great deal of biodiversity. Delicate species enter here in search of food or shelter. There are also a number of species known as sand filter feeders. Their method of extracting food consists of swallowing small handfuls of sand from which they only retain the nutrients they need. The rest they return to the seabed. This sea cucumber traps particles by means of feather-like filaments in its mouth. In addition to the microorganisms it finds in the marine sediment, it also feeds on decomposing organic matter, which in turn has been previously processed by these microscopic creatures. Schools of fish such as boxlip mullet cross these sandbanks, leaving large clouds of suspended particles in their wake. Each individual approaches the bottom repeatedly to catch a little bit of this sand, which it then releases, generating a constant cloud in suspension to let it fall again. Sticking to the bottom, the mullets use their sensory barbels to detect small animals to feed on, such as worms and mollusks. When they detect something, they gulp it down and then expel the sand through their gill slits. Once they finish and swim away, they retract them. Similarly, stingrays use similar organs on the front of their heads. This spotted eagle ray stirs up the sand until it finds something to feed on, which it easily absorbs with its mouth. They usually raise significant clouds of sand, which is why these species are always accompanied by other animals that also feed on the organisms found in the sandbanks. All these methods and changes in the substrate contribute to its oxygenation. The importance of the marine fauna that inhabit these areas is essential for the balance of these ecosystems, since without this chain, life here would be impossible. It is vital to recognize the fragility of these areas and their delicate biodiversity. When it comes to fragile ecosystems, coral reefs are perhaps the most delicate of all. These breathtaking underwater gardens are one of nature's greatest creators of life. Their environmental importance is immense, and their contribution to the health of the ocean is unparalleled. These colorful coral reefs cover an area of just 0.1% of the oceans, yet they protect 25% of marine species. Corals are colonies of small animals known as polyps that are responsible for these formations so full of different species. Inside them, it is very common to discover many species, especially crustaceans. Really tiny beings that mimic them. There are species of cleaning shrimps that feed on the parasites of the corals, which in turn provide them with an incomparable refuge. In fact, some of them only live in these formations. The coexistence of different species in these corals is very common. Coral crabs, for example, are also fixed residents. And the hermit crab stops by to peck at the polyps to feed on debris or small organisms attached to them. The amount of life they can harbor is as varied as it is delicate. It's a pity that these landscapes full of vivid colors and beautiful structures are fading due to external factors. Coral bleaching in some areas of the planet is very evident. The remains of corals that have suffered from the inclemency of nature in these countries are scattered on the seabed, creating graveyards. However, the ease with which underwater animals can adapt to the environment means that life in the sea continues to surprise us. Thus, the queen sand wrasse moves these fragments, pushing them aside in search of food. It has learned that these objects hide creatures that it can feed on. Likewise, the pepper moray eels prowl among this mountain of dull corals. They wander among them without seeming to care about the appearance of the place. Many scientists consider the nocturnal fauna to be a separate ecosystem because of its unique dynamics. And so when night falls, life emerges in certain areas of the reef with a vengeance. One of the most striking are the shrimps. These small and numerous animals only appear in the dark. They feed on the microscopic plants in the water currents. In this way, they help to generate organic matter, making it easier for others, such as fish larvae, to feed. These large schools flood everything in their path with a constant din, which can be annoying for some species, But without this great mass of individuals, many predators would lack food. The night uncovers the long tentacles of a spaghetti worm. They glide along the bottom slowly among all these shrimp. These animals stay hidden under the sand or inside the coral nooks and crannies and only leave these filaments visible. They catch small organisms and organic particles with these filaments and then squeeze them into their mouths. Sometimes they roam over a very large territory, covering a substantial area, which is then renewed. Many of the species that emerge from their hiding places have developed over time qualities that only allow them to move around at night. Such is the case of this flathead fish, whose large eyes allow it to better capture light in poorly lit conditions. Their vision is adapted to darkness, either through the size of their eyes or through other sensory organs capable of perceiving the amount and intensity of light. Some animals also have reflective cells behind the retina that further enhance their ability to see at night. During the day, they bury themselves almost completely in the sand to remain unnoticed, exposing only their large spherical eyes, which have a wide angle of vision, essentially both for detecting potential prey and for escaping from predators. Octopuses also have the advantage of being able to regulate the amount of light that enters their eyes. They're able to identify objects and patterns thanks to their ability to perceive the polarization of light. This is what helps them to move so quickly and efficiently. The special qualities of these animals, in turn, make them vulnerable. Light pollution from humans affects them. Any extreme variation in the illumination of their environment can be fatal for them. In shallow waters, there are countless organisms struggling against extreme conditions. In inland seas and gulfs, the changing tides generate different currents throughout the day. These changes in water accumulations affect the species living in this type of habitat in different ways, and in turn make them more resilient. The fauna residing in these habitats are not only part of the complex food chain there, including humans, but are essential to ensure the balance and evolution of these types of ecosystems in our oceans. Among all these rare creatures, the Godfrey's scorpionfish stands out. This fish has 14 flexible spines and 15 rays, all of which are filled with hair-like protrusions and filaments. Slowly and stealthily, it shakes its body in small jumps to move around and still look like a piece of vegetation. In this way, it can get close to its prey without being seen. This striped-eyed goby is noticing something strange about its surroundings. Every time it moves, the scorpionfish follows its trail, trying to go unnoticed, but it doesn't seem to be succeeding. A short-finned lionfish watches the spectacle intently. In the gaps between the rock formations, there are species that protect themselves from these tidal changes. A pair of harlequin shrimp has taken up residence in one of them. These colorful creatures wear elegant attire that varies according to the area where they are found. They're delicate animals that surprisingly feed on starfish and sea urchins, even much larger than themselves. They do this in pairs, locating their prey by smell. In such varied and complex ecosystems, a rare creature is nothing more than a being capable of adapting its form, physiology, or behavior to an increasingly changing environment. All these adaptations serve basic functions, such as obtaining food, protection from predators, or responding to variations in factors such as salinity or temperature. A solitary plume shrimp moves by small contractions aided by its fan-shaped tail. Its feather-like appendages give it a fantastical appearance, and its light weight makes it easy to move and quick to hide. This little harlequin sweetlips has learned to move in a very specific way. As fry or juveniles, these fish shake their whole body in what looks like a frenzied dance. This is done to mimic a species of poisonous nudibranch to protect itself from predators. Once it reaches maturity, it can relax. Each species has evolved in a different way to adapt to changes in its environment. But if there is one family that stands out for its ability to adjust with camouflage and adaptations, it's the decorator crabs. There are countless different species of these spider crabs that cover themselves with living organisms such as plants and even anemones or jellyfish. This type of disguise protects them from potential predators, but also gives them a great advantage when it comes to feeding, as their prey don't distinguish them from the rest of the seabed. Ocean ecosystems where vegetation thrives show the important role it plays in absorbing carbon, protecting shorelines, and providing habitats for a wide range of species. Plants can produce new shoots from rhizomes, underground structures, allowing grasslands to expand or recover after destructive events. However, overexploitation, pollution, and habitat destruction can make regeneration much slower or even unviable. It is in these environments that many of the species of great food interest live. Small schools of black corvina take refuge in the rocks and more protected environments during the day, and become active for hunting at night. They feed on mollusks, crustaceans, and on some occasions even consume algae, which probably favors their movement in this type of environment. Their brown or gray colors contrast with their yellow fins. And sometimes you can hear the clicking noises they make. The brown or yellow algae mingle with the Posidonia oceanica to form an extensive Mediterranean underwater garden. But sometimes nature can hold surprises. As you go deeper and the water gets colder, life changes. Gorgonians have proliferated, bringing color to the area. Among the algae typical of these seabeds, fan-shaped structures grow with branches and colors. A visual spectacle. In them, many species lay their eggs, and thanks to their feeding by filtering the water, they help to keep the environment healthy. In any of the ecosystems of our oceans, there is perhaps no animal that attracts so little attention and whose importance is so vital. The life of nudibranchs is extremely quiet. Their slow movements and almost imperceptible motions making them inconspicuous. But nothing could be further from the truth. They are the subject of numerous studies investigating how to stop the growth of cancer cells. It's a family of gastropods full of different colors, shapes, and sizes. These beings, considered the slugs of the sea, surprise us with their peculiar appearance. Their attractiveness is unrivaled. They're so delicate that they depend on water temperature and weather conditions. This is why any small change in the seabed affects them drastically. Although they can inhabit a wide range of depths, their quality of life increases in warm, shallow waters. These animals are hermaphrodites. They don't distinguish between the sexes, and this allows either of them to store sperm. When a pair of the same species meet, the ritual begins. They approach each other until they come together, and it is then that they interact while waiting for the eggs to be fertilized. They are deposited in spiral-shaped colonies of thousands of them. These clutches are very striking and look like sea flowers adorning the reef. It's impossible to know how many species there are. The variety is infinite. New species can be discovered almost every day. Most of them are toxic, obtaining their venom from the creatures they feed on. And there are some species that eat algae, from which they obtain energy by photosynthesizing even once they have been ingested. We're seeing more and more litter in our seas. Whether through ignorance or carelessness, much of our rubbish ends up in the ocean. Materials such as plastic or chemical waste are seriously depleting our marine ecosystems. Despite the damage we are causing, nature always surprises us. The existence of animals that adapt their way of life to these foreign objects is fascinating. A large tire can become home to a small group of shrimps and prawns. These animals feed on the parasites of other species and other organisms or decomposing debris. This is why this wheel accumulates a large amount of encrusted life. It's perfect for these animals to find everything they need. The artificial reefs that humans consciously or accidentally create end up forming a new marine ecosystem. It's not only large ships that emerge majestically, jetties with their almost endless columns, or other vehicles and structures that act as makeshift shelters. Sometimes the vegetation outside also ends up at the bottom of the sea due to heavy storms. Moray eels shelter under a large log. There they feel safe until they have to feed. Preferably, they'll come out of their hiding place when night falls. In the meantime, they remain in the hollow that forms between the sand and this large piece of vegetation. They await the arrival of a shrimp or wrasse that will come along to clean them and thus be ready for the next feast. In the same way, a nurse shark takes advantage of one of these spaces between the steel clumps to establish itself. The adaptation of these animals to their environment is essential, as it helps to integrate artificial elements into the marine ecosystem by transforming them into new habitats. It is these large predators that paradoxically suffer the most from the changes experienced by the different ecosystems. Above all, due to human action and the criminalization of these predators. These large marine predators are the ones that have suffered and suffer the most from human criminalization. These impressive animals have existed for more than 400 million years. The angel shark is a very delicate species that has become almost extinct, but has managed to proliferate in the Canary Islands. Blue sharks are a deep blue color that helps them camouflage themselves in the blue sea. Their elongated body and conical snout give them a very slender appearance. These pelagic animals are very active as they carry out different migrations and prefer cold waters. For this reason, they have become one of the most sought-after species worldwide, as they are found in most of the world's seas. In more temperate waters, we can find other calmer species of sharks, which like to hang around the reefs. The inhabitants of the small island of Malapascua have realized how valuable these animals are. Here, the thresher sharks have located an excellent cleaning station where they find food and let others groom them. They're excellent swimmers and can even jump out of the water with great agility. Their large black eyes stand out, but above all, their elongated tail, which forms a very slender body, is striking. Although they can be up to 5 meters long, their tails can be up to half their length. Their tails are long upwards, and they use them as a whip to hunt the fish that swim in schools, such as sardines, anchovies, or mackerel. On another rockier and wilder seabed, one type of shark can be found living in harmony with a variety of other species. In this area, the leopard sharks rest. Like the thresher shark, it's a very peaceful species with an elongated tail and light skin with black spots covering its entire body. It hunts at night. During the day, they remain perched on the bottom. With rounded features, these sharks have a small mouth with 2 nostrils and nasal barbels on the sides, fitted with small teeth with which they crush their prey. Their appearance, elegant swimming, and calm countenance make this species of shark one of the most beautiful to be found near reefs. Unfortunately, they are highly prized by fishermen for their meat, fins, and liver oil. They are also in demand in aquariums all over the world. As a result, they are becoming increasingly scarce. Marine life encompasses a multitude of animals, organisms, and plants that occupy the entire space of our seas and oceans. All of them from microorganisms to large whales, play their role in the different underwater ecosystems. The very presence of cephalopods is an indication of good water quality. In fact, their absence means that there are problems of pollution or overfishing. Thus, a cuttlefish can convey a great sense of peace and tranquility while resting near the reef. They're very sensitive to changes in their environment. By feeding on a wide variety of organisms, these animals play a key role in the food chain. Without the existence of these creatures, environments suffer. Places don't always have to have coral to be considered healthy environments. A rocky seamount or a simple sand flat can support a myriad of species. The apparent sadness of the hedgehog fish is only due to the expression on its face, for in reality, it reflects the tranquility of the landscape where it seeks its routine cleaning. Places that right now boast exceptional biodiversity may disappear in a short period of time. This corner of Thailand, which now has a large number of long-finned batfish, or the vast schools of hunters such as emperors or jacks, could be deserted in a few years' time. Marine life plays a key role in the balance and maintenance of ocean environments. To protect them is to care for those ecosystems, and to preserve their balance is to ensure the health of the seas. In turn, maintaining the health of our oceans is the only way to ensure the stability of the planet, and with it, our own continuity as a species. Throughout this documentary journey, we have explored the seas and oceans of 5 continents. Diverse ecosystems have revealed their secrets. Vast plains, submerged mountains, sunken ships colonized by life, and dark seawalls, home to some of the most amazing and unknown creatures on the planet. Each dive has brought us closer to a world where life is not only unusual, but amazingly resilient. They're not all strange creatures because of their appearance, but because of their ability to adapt to an ever-changing ocean. In an increasingly depleted sea, those who survive become extraordinary animals. Today, as our seas face increasing threats, we must understand that each of these creatures plays an essential role. To admire and protect them is not just a duty, it is an urgent necessity. Perhaps none symbolizes this better than the sea turtle. Capable of living for more than a century and resilient from day one in an unforgiving environment. It is the essence of the sea because of its silent and constant struggle to continue to exist. Because as long as there is life to resist, there is still hope to amaze us again with the weird ocean creatures.